It's time. Okay, I can't do that as well as Mariah Carey. If you know, you know. But I do want to let you know it's time for block number 2 in the 2025 quilt along. Hey friends, my name is Becca. Welcome back to my sewing room. In today's video, I am going to give you the link down below for the pattern for block number 2. I'm going to show you the fabric that's in my cotton cuts box. Then I'm going to walk you through how to make this block. And at the very end, I'm going to show off some of the blocks that were made in the previous month. So you'll want to stick around for the entire video because lots here for you to watch. Let me bring you up to speed in case you don't know what we're doing here. I'll link to the original blog post down below, but essentially what we're doing is a quilt along through all of 2025. This is completely free for you. Every month I'm going to give you a free download on my website that will give you a pattern for one block in 4 different sizes. So you get to choose what size you want to make. Then you're going to pull fabric from your stash, or if you really must, go buy some fabric and put that block together. At the end of 2025, we'll all have 12 blocks that we can sew into a quilt, and we'll have a lovely sampler quilt. For me, I am using fabric supplied from Cotton Cuts because they are the sponsor of this entire sew along. They wanted to partner with me to bring this project to you. And so what they're doing every month is sending me a Cotton Cuts classic box. I'm going to show you all of the fabric that's in there. I'll pick the fat quarters that I'm going to work with, and then we'll put the block together. For you, though, you can pull this completely from your stash, as I mentioned. I have had lots of questions about how much fabric do I need to pull if I want to do the entire quilt. And my rule of thumb was pull about 1 yard for a border, pull about 2 to 3 yards for background, and pull about 24 fat quarters. And that's going to be an obscene amount of fabric for this quilt. You probably won't need all of that. In fact, you might have enough to make this quilt a couple times over. For those of you that are a little bit more advanced in your sewing, some of these blocks are very, very, very simple, and that is intentional so that some of the beginners can sew along with us as well. So if you find that a block is maybe a little too basic for you, either take the easy win and make the block, or challenge yourself to make one of the smaller sizes and then use multiple of those sizes to make a bigger version of that block made up of the smaller block, or just put together a mini quilt. It'll be so fun. All right, let's dive in and see what fabrics we have. I'm going to cut the tape, flip it over, and open the box. We always have this really pretty tissue paper to keep the surprise. Makes us feel like we're unwrapping something. In every box, we usually have a freebie, which I don't see in there this time, and that's fine. Maybe it's in this little packet of documentation. So the first thing that we have is our quote card, and on the back there is a code underneath my hand to allow you to download one of the patterns that they're showing you on the back of this card. So save that. We also have a card that tells us who picked our fabric and what they selected. We have our block of the month, and this month I actually have 2 of these cards. It gives you a pattern for the block, so if you don't like the one I'm doing, make this one. And on the back of that, if you just color this in, snap a picture of it, and post on social media by the 15th of the month, you might win a prize from Cotton Cuts. And the last thing that we have is the advertisement for the next puzzle mystery quilt, which is Flyway. I am really excited because I'm actually going to do the Flyway puzzle mystery quilt, but this is a personal sew that I paid for. I don't know that I'm going to have the bandwidth to be able to make content for it, but maybe I'll be able to show you the blocks along the way. I'll definitely do a reveal once the entire quilt comes together. It's not too late to sign up. The clues for this start shipping on the 7th of February, and signups will still be available until around May. So if you're sitting on the fence right now and you want to wait, you still have a little bit of time, but I would say sooner rather than later because colorways do sell out. So here is my little fabric bundle. I have 12 fat quarters here, and I'm really excited. I think the box this month is definitely more my speed than the box that we had last month. Let's just flip through these fabrics really quickly. The first 3 fabrics that I'm pulling are from the Shine line by Sweetwater Fabrics for Moda. I'm really liking this print. The first 3 fabrics that I have are from the Shine collection by Sweetwater for Moda Fabrics. Really love this one. Then I have some florals, which I think are from the Calico by Corey Yoder for Moda Fabrics. And I think this might be part of that line as well, but not really sure. And I think this one is part of that line too. So I have 3 Sweetwater fabrics, I think 3 Corey Yoder fabrics, and then I've got 3 blenders, and they're all from Allison Glass. This is Sunprint 2025 according to the card. And then a Cotton Cuts box for me would not be complete without batiks. I have 3 batik fabrics. This is Secret Garden by Bound to Be Quilting for Banyan Batiks. And I'm loving these Banyan batiks. So last month, the fabric in my box wasn't necessarily what I would have picked, but I made it work. But this month, there's a lot in here that I do love, and I am going to have a hard time picking which one I want. So I've made my decision. I'm going to work with those 3 fabrics from Sweetwater because these were the 3 that I loved the most in that box. This is actually a fabric line that I wanted to get some of, and then I was like, no, better not. I'm going to save my money. So I've got 3 fat quarters from this, and I'm definitely going to put this into my quilt. I'm going to starch the fabric. I'm going to cut it according to the pattern instructions, which again is linked down below. Then I'm going to walk you through step by step how to put this block together. You know, I make fun of Ian for fussy cutting holes out of his yardage all the time. And I just did the same thing. So I guess I can't make fun of him anymore for that. You know what the best part of writing your own pattern and making it available for free is? I can talk to you about my cutting measurements. This pattern is linked in the description box down below, so you can go grab the PDF and print it off for yourself, but I'm just going to tell you what I have cut for my 12-inch block. I have my fabric A. There are 4 pieces that are cut at 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Fabric B, which is the same print as my fabric A, I have 2 pieces that are cut at 5.5 inches. Fabric C is a different accent fabric. This is cut at 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And my fabric D is going to be the hero in the center of the star, and this is cut at 4.5 inches. And yes, I did fussy cut it just so I could get that little whale in my block. Now, when we make our half square triangle units, we are going to follow the 2 at a time method. What is this, you ask? Well, it's really easy. For every 2 pieces, 2 half square triangle units that we want to make, we're going to take 1 of each of our fabrics and we're going to place them right side together. We'll draw a line from one corner to the other corner at that 45-degree angle, and then we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch on either side of that drawn line. Then, after we've done our sewing, we're going to cut right on that line that we drew, and that's going to produce 2 half square triangle units for each pair of fabric that we have. Since we have 2 pairs of fabric, 2 sets of fabric, we should end up with 4 half square triangle units. When you're drawing your line on the back side of your fabric, it really doesn't matter whether you are marking fabric B or fabric C. Just use a marking utensil and do whichever is the lighter of the 2 so that you can see your mark. Also, if you have some diagonal seam tape, that stuff is magic and you don't even have to mark your half square triangle units. Once our half square triangle units are cut apart, when we open them up, they make a square that is made up of 2 triangles. Half of the square is a triangle. I think that's probably how the block gets its name, but I don't know. I'm not an expert. And you didn't come here for quilt history lessons. You came here for a free pattern and a block tutorial. So let's finish this block. For this half square triangle unit, the instructions tell us to press the seam towards the darker of the two fabrics. It doesn't matter how you press it. You can press it open, you can press it to the lighter fabric, you can press it to the darker fabric. These aren't going to nest. The half square triangle unit seam isn't going to nest anywhere, so it's really just quilter's preference. Once these are all pressed, then we got to square them up. So here's my trick with half square triangle units. I feel like I always end up with my half square triangles coming in just a little bit too shy of what they should be. And so I prefer to cut my squares to make my HSTs a little bit bigger than what's needed, sew them together, press them open, and then square them down. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. For the 12-inch block, these half square triangle units will need to be squared up to 4.5 inches. So let me show you how I square these up. I'm going to come in with one of my half square triangle units and a small ruler. It doesn't matter what you use as long as you have a 45-degree line on the ruler and it's at least as big as the size that you're going to square down to. I'm going to measure at 4.5 inches, which is where this line is here and this line is here. So I'm going to put the 45-degree line right on top of that seam that I just made where the two fabrics are joined. And what's most important is that the seam is directly in the 45-degree angle here and here. In the middle, if it's got to be a little bit wobbly, it would be better that it's off here than at the points, because the ends, these corners, is what's going to give you that really nice point in your start block. I'm going to make sure that I have some fabric extending off the right, off the top, and then past the measurement that I want to square to down at the bottom. And you'll see as I square this one up that I gave you a lot of room for error for this HST. So if you are a new sewer, if this is something that you struggle with your HSTs, don't worry, I got you covered. I mean, look at all that extra that came off of that block for this one little HST. Once our HSTs are pressed and squared, we have 3 units. We have our fabric A, which is untouched, our fabric B, which is untouched, and now we have these BC half square triangle units. We're going to use these elements to build out our block, which really just goes together in a 9-patch orientation. And what that means is we're going to have 3 rows of 3 across. So let's start by grabbing our hero fabric. This is the one that we want to be in the dead center of the block. We're going to lay that down, and then we're going to grab our fabric A and put that in the 4 corners around that block. And then we're going to bring on our HSTs, but we want to be careful with this. I have put this together backwards so many times. We're going to put in our HSTs so that the darker fabric is spinning in a clockwise motion. So I like to keep my layout there so I can check myself to make sure that I'm doing this right, because I could have the whole thing put together and then find out that I did it wrong. That looks right. So we're going to sew this row together, and then this row together. And then when we press it, we're always going to press away from these HSTs. So this row and this row, the seams will be pressed out to the fabric A's, and the middle, the seams will be pressed underneath that fabric D. When we press in those opposite directions, that's going to allow us to nest our rows together when we go to sew the entire block together. If you noticed while I was piecing this, I didn't stop to trim my threads or cut them in between each piece. This is what's called chain piecing. It's where you start piecing on your first piece and you just keep going, pushing more and more pieces through the machine without breaking thread and having to stop and start all over. this also lays the groundwork to do what is called web piecing. What web piecing lets you do, and I'll demonstrate it here as I'm putting this block together, is keep all of your fabrics nice and organized. So if you're starting to sew your rows together for a really big block or maybe even a quilt, you don't have to worry about them dropping on the floor because they're always going to stay assembled in the order that you sewed them together. So to do web piecing, when I pull this off of the machine, I'm going to leave them all intact. And then I'm going to lay it down and make sure that for the first time you add another column on, you need to make sure that you have your right fabric, the fabric in the leftmost column, pulled out the right way. So once I have that done, then I'm just going to pick up my next column of fabric starting at the top and working my way down, bring this over to my machine, and then I'm going to start adding them to each of those pieces, chain piecing, just like I did before. And then web piecing will look something like this. My rows are assembled in the right order, but row 1 is connected to row 2 and row 2 is connected to row 3. So all I really have to do is finger press my seams and then sew those rows together. I could clip them apart if I wanted to right now. And I'll tell you, if you're doing one of the smaller blocks, you might find that easier. I feel like web piecing for me is a little bit easier when the blocks are a bit bigger. So I'm not going to clip them. I'm just going to sew this together and stop shaking it around like I don't know what it is. But let's stop playing with the fabric and actually sew it. As I mentioned, we're always going to press away from the half square triangle unit. So I'm just going to finger press this so that I get the seam laying nice and flat. And that'll allow me to nest my seams when I'm sewing the rows together. And then when it's all done, I'll give the whole block a nice press. Now, if you don't know what nesting your seams is, I realize I didn't talk to you about that. That means that the seams are going in opposite directions. And so you're just pushing or bumping up that bulk of each of the seams right up next to each other. And you should be able to feel it when you run the fabric or the seam between your forefinger and your thumb. When your block is all put together, you should have something that looks like this. Remember, you want that dark fabric that's touching that center square to spin in a clockwise direction. Now, I know they have another block out there that looks just like this one, but the dark fabric is spinning counterclockwise, and I think it has a whole different name. And I'm sure some of you out there already know what the name of that is, so feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I am super happy with how this block turned out compared to the block from last month. I love the block, but didn't love the fabrics last month as much as I do these. Really excited to have this in my quilt. Thank you, friends, so much for sewing with me. I hope you are having a blast with this quilt along. We're going to wrap up the video showcasing some of the blocks that you made last month. If you would like to see your block featured in next month's video, don't forget to take a picture of your block, post it to my Facebook group. The link is in the description box down below, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye!